Good morning, Garden of England, Sunday morning. I'm in here out of the lee of the breeze. It's affecting the quality of the sound. So yesterday I teased you, if you saw my post yesterday on Facebook, about the announcement today of what I think is going to be an extraordinary experience. Before I get into it, this past week has just been absolutely amazing for me. Isn't it just wonderful when you have intention to do things and source just provide you with endless reaffirming coincidences or synchronicity? Just amazing. And even just this morning, something extraordinary, an absolute affirmation that what I'm proposing to do with you guys is really going to be extraordinary. But let me just begin by just sharing some of the coincidences, because it is amazing, isn't it? It's one of the joys of MindStore. That once we start programming, once we've got the goal, once we've got the intention, and we're prepared to really focus on it and keep our minds, our positivity going, and get rid of the self-sabotage by managing our thoughts and managing what we allow ourselves to run through our minds as scenarios, then magic happens. People, places, opportunities, they just show up at exactly the right time. Now you know that, and I know that, and it is absolutely wonderful. So here's what happens this week, right? So one of the things I think you know is I've got a course coming. The dog's barking because she's standing still here. I've got a course that I'm going to be doing here in Canterbury, Saturday 28th of June, and attending to that, especially in light of what I'm going to tell you later, might be really important. It might add so much value to what this other project is. But anyway, tickets for that will go on sale soon. Initially they're going to go to people here in Canterbury, and then I'll open them up to a wider MindStore database, so you don't worry about that, you'll get notice of it. But keep the date in your diary, 9 till 5. It's going to be the same course I did last year in Glasgow. Extraordinary. It's next level MindStore, but the absolute beginners will very quickly get immersed in our MindStore process, and you can look forward to new tools and techniques if you've been with me before and didn't attend last year. But look, so one of the things in order to make that happen is nobody knows who I am here. So one of the ideas I came up with to help do that, to get the information out there, dog's barking, I'm going to have to walk I think. So one of the things I've come up with is that I get one of the people here to interview me. And so they can ask questions that people who don't know who I am would get answers to. And by chance, just by obvious chance, a woman showing up who is a teacher herself, teaches programs, and she's really talented. So she knows exactly the kind of questions that should be asked to help people understand the power of what's available to them by coming to the course. And so what we did was we met the other morning in Canterbury to walk around to look for places where we could film. We're going to do it outdoors, somewhere we could sit with a reasonable scene and get some decent lighting or whatever for the camera guy, and we can sit there and do the actual interview, which we're going to do a couple of weeks' time. So we meet this week just for a walkabout in the morning. Now, she doesn't know me. She fun enough, knew about me about 20 years ago, apparently, in London. She knew about me, but never attended the course. So I don't know her, she doesn't know me. So inevitably, as we're walking about, looking at these various sites, just getting to know her a little bit, and ask her, so what's your story? And what's interesting is, as a coincidence, extraordinary coincidence, is I started this week by getting in touch with the 3 people I want to interview for the next phase of interviews. And the first one, of course, is I want to finish off the promise of doing a 4th interview with Kathleen Friedrichsen. If you haven't watched the first 3, and especially that 3rd one, well, why? For goodness sake, go and watch it. So the thing is, I'd been in touch with her, I'd been in touch with the other 2. It's all getting set up, thankfully. So I think I'd had a communication with Kathleen that morning. And then, as you probably know about Kathleen met me, first of all, when I did a gig for Littlewoods in one of the big halls in Liverpool a wee back, God knows when that was. So I'm walking with this woman, getting to know her a little bit, and she says, I used to work for, wait for it, you know who, Littlewoods. And she was in retail. But so's Kathleen. And right away I'm going, oh my goodness. What an affirmation. What an affirmation. Dogs barking. That this is going to be extraordinary. And then there's other coincidences in our conversation. And she's right into coincidence herself and synchronicity. She really gets it. The two of us are kind of just amazed, and we find a perfect location we're going to film in. Then we go into a cafe, you know, and in the cafe we order, coffee. I had a decaf thing, coffee, and because we're finished working, and we chose to sit down at a certain area of the cafe. And as we're sitting down there, and I'm talking a wee bit more now about the course, and she's talking about her work, so I know that I can talk about synchronicity a bit more, and she's into it anyway, and there's been so many flashes of it. And I start talking about the inner coaches. And in the whole of the cafe, in that area, there's only one, if you like, painting on the wall. And it's relatively small one, so if you weren't really focused on it, you wouldn't notice it. And just as I'm talking about it, I look over, and it's Billy Connolly. A drawing of Billy Connolly. I'm like, for goodness sake. So a universe, just unbelievable. And then endless other things have happened. But one of the things that has really been happening this week is just more and more coincidences. And so one of the things I've been thinking about was my own spiritual growth. Here it is, it's Sunday morning, and I'll be going to church soon. But so I follow a Canadian priest on YouTube who does the survival thing. He's got a treehouse thing up in somewhere out in the wilderness of Canada, and he's into all that, survival stuff. And I find him fascinating. He's got some great insights on Christianity, and I really quite enjoy. And so he shows up, and he talks about, I think it was Pope John Paul II used to go and do private retreats, just go into the wilderness himself, tent, sleeping bag, 3 nights kind of thing. And he was saying that it's really, really great for your spiritual growth. And I thought, that's perfect. That's just perfect for me. And I thought, you know what? I should do that. So I've now arranged to create a space of 4 days, a day to get there, 3 nights in the wilderness, and then a day to get back. And then it started to evolve in my mind. Because one of the brilliant things that I've been able to do, one of the most joyous things I've been able to do, is do coaching by walkabout. And some of you have taken me up on that, where you choose the location, you choose the date, so that in its sense is going to be auspicious. And then we walk out and it's all about you. But what happens is, inevitably, is coincidence, synchronicity starts to pop up almost immediately in the environment. Just get out of the wind, the lee of this wind, probably affecting the thing here. And so I realised that for myself, that what I shouldn't do is drive to, I'm going to sit behind this tree, drive to a location. Is that I should get public transport, and I should let the synchronicity happen to me on the journey to wherever I'm going to camp. And that I should imitate what also happened on the amazing line in the sand retreats, the real ones, where 24 hours and more hours of silence became really, really a cornerstone. And I attempted to recreate that, as you'll know, in the Live Islands in Glasgow, and elsewhere, in London and in Dublin. And so people went out for the walk, the synchronistic walk, and started to feed back. And so the synchronicity thing is really critical. And it's synchronicity, of course, that source provides us with direction for achieving our goals. And in a sense, that's a deeply spiritual thing. And so what I wanted to do was, I haven't chosen yet, I haven't got the dates yet, but it'll be either in July or August. Keep that in mind, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a place where I can get there by public transport. I'm expecting to go to at some point by train, be able to walk towards somewhere to camp. Now, maybe ideally in somewhere in the wilderness, a town or a city, not so obvious, but maybe someone may have, maybe you know someone who's got land that might not mind you doing that, or just go to a proper campsite, but of the type that's a bit more remote, and spend three nights there in absolute silence. And then I realised, well, wait a minute, this is quite selfish. And just as I think that, Kathleen has responded to something I put out about doing the island in Iona, and she comes back with the comment, I would do it, Jack. And I suddenly realised, wait a minute, why should I just do this spiritual growth thing on my own? Then my mind started to race with ideas. And what I'm doing here is I'm inviting you, and it's just progressed over morning into this morning. But where I was last night when I came on here, I came onto Facebook and said, listen, got an announcement. What I'm up for is you joining me. That you do your own journey, synchronistic journey. You can't just, certainly can't turn up your big 4-wheel drive and empty out the tent and all the equipment. No, you got to come in the same way I'll come in, public transport. Let's say we meet at 6 o'clock at the station. And however many of you, 2 of us, 10 of us, 20, 40 of us, I don't know, we go to an appropriate place. And apart from, say, 7 o'clock till 10 at night, where we would share what's happened to us over the day, the rest of it is absolute silence. And we go on synchronistic walks through woods, across the countryside, into the town, and so on, and magic will happen to you. We know it does, it always does. So the synchronicity will show up. But what I'm also going to do, because it's a spiritual thing, I want you to come with your book. I'm going to come with the Bible, and at random, each day, I'm going to read some pages, and I'm going to let that sink in spiritually and see how it manifests in what happens in the unfolding synchronistic walks, and how I get a deeper spiritual awakening. And I know it's going to work, and it's powerful. Now, you don't have to be a Christian. You can turn, but if you're of another faith, come with your book. Come with your book. And if you're not, well, maybe come with a Bible and see what happens to you. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's perfectly okay. Just come anyway and participate. And I'm not going to charge for this. I'm going to facilitate it. I'm not going to charge for this. But what I will do is you must give permission, and you must participate by sharing in the 7 till 10 o'clock thing. I'll facilitate that, of what's been unfolding for you, the deeper growth that's going on, the synchronistic sort of pointers to your goals and your aspirations. Because this stuff only works. And when we're together sharing it, it becomes awesome. So we're going to recreate, as it were, an island, but in a much more profound way. But you have to pay for this. You have to bring yourself there, and there's a wee bit more synchronicity about that in a moment. But you have to give me permission to take your stories, and you give me your best stories of the unfolding process over 3 days, and I publish them in a book. You give me permission for that, and we get it out there. We'll self-publish it and gets out there. So that's the price you pay. Now, I guess you're thinking, oh wait a minute, Jack. Oh, July, August. I'm busy. And where are you going to do it? I mean, you're in Canterbury. I'm in Inverness. How do I? Well, it then occurred to me this morning, if you can't get to the same place I'm going, then why don't a bunch of you somewhere in Ireland, somewhere in Glasgow area, somewhere in Fort William or wherever I've done courses, why don't you get together and go and find a location and go and do it together? By the time we get to it, if we're all doing it more or less in the same week or so, I'll provide instruction for someone who agrees to be a facilitator. And we've got a much wider experience going on. And this is easy if you allow yourself to think it's easy. So I've got to be honest with you, initially I thought it should be for men. The sort of simplicity of most men, they don't have a lot of friends, you know. Most, especially if you've been like me, a careerist, you build your career, you're passionate about your work, you've got associates, and maybe if you've got a partner, your wife, you know, she goes to Pilates classes, and you end up having a sort of acquaintances of their husbands, but not necessarily your friends. And I thought for maybe men, but then I realised, well, why there's some amazing women in MindStore, why would you deprive them of the opportunity? And you might think, well, I don't have a tent. Well, you know what, this is where the synchronicity happens. I'm thinking, well, what about a tent? What about all of that stuff? So we park outside Marks and Spencer's yesterday, and there's a little scratch to the back of my car. Don't know how it got there. So I thought, there's a Halfords next door. So I go into Halfords, see if I can get some tea cut to sort of just, you know, sort of brush away that little tiny scratch. And the guy says to me, oh, we've got some colour-coded tea cut just round the corner there. And I go round, and you know what's there? A tent for sale in Halfords. Listen to this, £25 for a tent. I'm like, seriously? So I go back and ask a guy, because I haven't camped for about 5 years or something. And I said, would that handle a rainy night, you know, in the middle of the summer? He said, as long as you don't touch the sides of it, absolutely. They're really good quality, 25 quid. So don't tell me you can't afford. You're not having to pay for the programme anyway, but 25 quid gets you a tent. Well, I've got a sleeping bag. And, you know, you can bring obviously your own food. I mean, I think if we're getting bigger and bigger, then maybe we're all going to have to obviously maybe find a campsite where we can get some privacy and space. And it's not too far from wonderful walks, not too far from some kind of town to go in and get the inspiration that will happen with the coincidences there, the overhead conversations, the thing that's in the window, the book in the bookshop, you know, whatever. But that'll be extraordinary and it'll be amazing. Just amazing. You know, and the idea of the book came because I was with Jim yesterday, and Jim said to me, you're writing any books at the moment? And I am writing a book with a priest from Ghana, a book about using MindStore tools and techniques as a Christian, but it's taken quite a bit of time. And then I suddenly realised as he asked me, oh my God, there's a book in what I'm thinking of doing. There's a book about what I'm thinking of doing. And so the whole thing about that this morning, finally, I got up this morning, I relieve myself, get back to bed, sit up as I do, and I kind of like just to see what comes in YouTube. Because Lothar came in, I mentioned that, didn't I? Lothar came in Facebook, if you follow me recently, and there's a coincidence of that. So Lothar's going to be the middle interview, because I followed that coincidence. But in comes, I think it's called the platform or the channel's called Daystar. I don't know how it got there, but it's Robert Kennedy, and he's one of my heroes. And listen, incidentally, if your opinion of Robert Kennedy is based in mainstream media, shame on you. Absolute shame on you. I know he's with Trump, but let's be absolutely frank. If Biden had got out the way and the Democrats had the blooming wisdom, the real Democrats, to give him the job of, he'd be president now. But Trump gave him the opportunity, and he took it because he's committed to everything that he's doing. And this extraordinary interview that just showed up at random, he talks about, listen to this, synchronicity. It's an extraordinary interview. Go and search for it. Robert Kennedy. Don't prejudge him based on the nonsense you get from those Democrats grilling him at that thing a few months ago, or what you're reading in. You know where to find those. This guy's extraordinary. Absolute challenge to the status quo. I wish he was my Prime Minister. I wish he was my President. What an amazing guy. But listen to him talk about synchronicity. Listen to him talk about spirituality. It's Daystar. Daystar, I'm sure, is the channel, and it's Robert Kennedy. Go and find it. Go and watch it. It's about, I don't know, it's about 15 minutes. A wee bit shorter than this. But that was my final proof that I should do this. I should come on here and offer you this opportunity. Now, more details about the dates I'm going to do it at and where I'm going to do it, that will follow. But by the way, if you are a landowner and can give us land to do this, that would be extraordinary. Now, obviously, for 3 days, the thing, of course, is that during the course of it, there's no mobile phones getting used, no getting onto the internet. We'll give each other the chance to text a communication to our family and loved ones to know that we're safe once a day, and no talking during it. You can bring your own food. Maybe if we go to a campsite with his facilities, you can get a shower and stuff like that. But and maybe part of it will be intermittent fasting, so we're only eating once maybe at night. So there's that whole fasting thing, which is a big spiritual thing, and lots of amazing. But can you imagine sitting around, if we get the chance for an open fire, sitting around facilitated conversations about the synchronicity we've all experienced in a deep spiritual period of growth? It's the island on stilts. It's the line in the sand on stilts. And you can participate either with me or with someone else, go together, or, as I was going to do initially, do it on your own. So you can look forward to that. Let me know what you think about that. I would hope to see you there. It would just be absolutely extraordinary experience, because Ireland was amazing. The line in the sand retreats were just mind-blowing. This will be even better. Thanks for watching. I know I've gone on a wee bit. Have an amazing Sunday. I intend to. Cheers now. Bye-bye.